Hey guys, welcome to the KCE, the Car Center of Excellence. I thought I'd put together a 2023 recap video about my Sportwagen. Just got done with a track event at VIR, Virginia International Raceway, with the Tidewater Sports Car Club last weekend, and so it's basically done now for the year. Probably won't do a whole lot of car stuff till the spring. Car's been put in winter non-track mode, so just thought I'd put a video together about 2023 and my Sportwagen. So, got my coffee here. So yeah, I mean, here's the recap whiteboard bullet list. So, put 13,000 miles on it. I'll hit 100,000 miles probably, before end of the year, maybe another week or so. I did 9 track days. Major maintenance to talk about was DSG, bevel box, rear diff, and Haldex. Actually, here's the supplies for that rear diff, bevel, and Haldex. I'm doing it probably in a week. Major kind of repairs were, or I guess some of the aftermarket issues were the lower control arm, the Super Pro lower control arm, rear bushings. One of them failed, so Super Pro warrantied that and sent me some new bushings, which I had to pay to install, of course. They're never going to cover the labor. But and the 034 or 034 front end links got noisy. So, that's a symptom of 9 track days. I mean, that's what happens. So that's really it. In terms of repairs, got a puncture in my AC condenser, which was unfortunate, so that was replaced. I replaced the upstream O2 sensor. I was getting some intermittent codes, as well as the left front ABS sensor, same, getting some codes, and actually I still get those codes. It's like low magnetic field, so I'm not actually sure what's wrong. It wasn't the sensor, clearly. And I ran a compression test, so people ask, you add, you more than double the power of your car. Oh my God, it's going to blow up. I mean, I'm still making about 180 PSI across all 4 cylinders, maybe plus or minus 2 or 3 PSI, which is great. So yeah, I mean, here's my next maintenance kit. So do an oil change. So I'm using the high performance lubricants Euro 540. Got a man filter. Let's see, you got the Febby Bilstein Haldex fluid. Redline MT90, it's just a GL4 for the bevel and the rear diff. I'm a little confused. Sometimes you see people say these should be GL5, which is the more, I'll use a simple term, slippery, than the stuff you wouldn't use in a manual transmission. But if you go to Redline or Liqui Moly sites, they all call for GL4. It's a little confusing. I'm not sure what's going on, but this seems to work fine. I've added the Liqui Moly MOS2 for gears to both bottles already, so it's shaken up and ready. And then here's just all my crap. Bolts, some magnetic drain plugs, the O-rings for the Haldex, and all that crap. So that's coming up. In terms of mods, I'm going to throw a quick little shot in the video here that it kind of runs down. I'm not going to go through them all. They're very minor. I just did a handful of small mods to the car this year because really it's about done. Here's what it looks like under the hood at this point, which is really the same. No real issues to speak of. Water pump seems to be holding in there since it was replaced, but it wouldn't surprise me if that starts leaking at some point again. Yeah, I just replaced my 2-piece, my rotor rings on my front rotors. The minimum thickness on these is 32 millimeters. The fact they come at 34, you can see there's no more slots. They're completely worn out, and there's a big lip. These actually measure like 31 and change, so they're below minimum. It was time to change them. These are the track pads I just took off, EBC RPX, and so I throw on a more street-friendly pad that's not as dusty. For 2024, I don't have a whole lot planned. I mean, the car's basically where it needs to be for the long term. I mean, you always want to do little things to your car, but I think I'm going to focus this winter, if I can float it, I'd like to go ahead and put a Golf R front bumper on it. It just looks more aggressive. It has a little bit more venting, or at least that's how I'm going to justify spending it. The money on it, you can buy a complete kit on eBay. I think they're probably knockoff kits for $750 for the bumper and the bits and bobs. If I'm going to do that, I might as well change my headlights out, because even though these headlights with the Diauto bulbs actually work great, and I don't think they look terrible. I don't know if you can see it. Man, something's really happened in this side just in the last few months. It's like heat crazing maybe, or maybe I took something hit the car, a bird or something, and kind of put some stress on it. But I feel like this gets worse by the day, so I'm going to probably have to replace my headlights anyway. And again, so if you're going to go through the trouble, I think I'd like to get the Golf R front clip and lights. The only other thing I'm planning on in terms of mods, I'm not touching the engine. It makes plenty of power. I would like to do something about the seats. Now, I don't find these base model cloth seats uncomfortable. I mean, I'm not really driving the car that much anymore in terms of I don't have a commute anymore. I don't use it for work. I just rent cars. So, you know, if we're hopping in the car and going to the Publix, the grocery store, it's fine. But on the track, it would be nice to be a little more stationary. I mean, you can see one of my videos where I show you how to lock the inertial lock on the seatbelt. I'll be honest with you, you stay really tight in the car. I mean, I'm not moving that much, but a racing fixed back seat would be cool. I'm looking at the Cobra Nagaro. It works with a 3-point belt, which is the critical component. You will lose the side airbag. I wouldn't keep it in, I don't think. I would just swap it in for track days. It's 4 bolts holding your seat in. It doesn't take a lot of time. And you can buy an airbag canceller to plug in to make sure your airbags work in lieu of having that side airbag disconnected. You can even set up seat heaters in them and everything. So I really think I'm going to look at getting a fixed back driver seat. I'm not going to buy both of them because I'm not really having passengers at this point. And I think that would be a kind of a nice upgrade for the car for 2024 track events. I'll probably do a similar number next year, maybe try to do 10 days. It's really fun. I'm really enjoying it, and the car just rips. Again, you don't really need to do as much to the car as you think. Basically front brake pads and send it. But the car is pretty modified at this point and does work well on the track, but I just don't have a whole lot of other things to do to the car. So, in terms of mods or things to spend some money on in 2024, I talked about getting a fixed back race seat to throw in for track days. It's really the driver mod stuff at this point. If you have $2,000 to spend, do you buy a fixed back race seat and a data analytic tool, or do you put coilovers on your car? Your typical car folks seem to think, oh man, you got to do coilovers, and no, you actually need to spend money on the driver part. And so the fixed back seat helps you be more relaxed and drive better. The other big component is at this point, I need to get some kind of a data capture tool. And the one that and seems to be popular is the Garmin Catalyst. So many people use these things. Looks like an iPad. You chuck it in the window with a camera, and it will analyze your driving in terms of track driving and tell you where you can make up time, where you can be more efficient. And I think that's really where it is. I mean, you can go hire a driving coach too. You can pay a guy to come or girl to come with you to the track and sort out your driving. But what I've seen in terms of instructors, at this point, I don't really need an instructor in the car. In fact, I hate to say it, but sometimes it's actually it's actually not helpful because you seem to get different advice from every instructor you talk to, which then just confuses you and you end up just fucking up on the track because you're trying to meld 4 different or whatever people you've talked to's views on how to drive. It needs to be more focused at this point, and that's where like a dedicated driving coach, which I don't really think is necessary for just having fun like I'm doing. But the Garmin Catalyst is perfect. It's like a virtual AI coach. It will video, it's taking all the videos. You see a lot of people post them online. It's a catalyst in the corner. It's pretty cool. It'll tell you where, apex earlier, and it'll give you, or apex later on this turn. You can do a Bluetooth speaker in your helmet. It'll talk to you while you're driving. Pretty cool. I'd like to pick one of those up. So maybe the final comment is I need to get, I've got a really great track kit. It's in this tote. I've got all kind of crap. I've got a nice list I take to the track so I don't forget things. And it all fits in my car. I've got everything I need. The problem or the challenge I'm facing at this point is I need to get a tool set. So I've got lots and lots of tools here in the garage, but I don't want to pilfer them every time I go to the track and potentially forget stuff. So the advice I've received from the shop I use that goes to the track and supports race events is just go to Harbor Freight and buy the 300 piece. It's like the 301. It's $200. Go buy a tool kit, supplement with the few pieces you need that you like to take, and done. Put it on the shelf. Don't touch it. That way you don't forget things. At that point, I'll have really everything I need. Okay, so that's a 2023 recap, a little talk about 2024, some possible things coming next year. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I will see you in 2024. Don't forget, please subscribe to my channel. I've been making a lot of content, and I hope it's helpful for people. Again, this is really valuable to anybody with a Mark 7. That's a Golf R, a GTI, a Golf, a Sportwagon, an all-track. They're all really the same. And I'll keep trying to make some videos, probably do some videos on my W8 Passat next, and some other ideas I've had. Take it easy, guys. Have a great rest of the year. See you in 2024.